Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of voxogos Draw. It's been a while, I've been sick and my voice might be a little iffy on this episode, so just bear with me. So in this episode we're going to look at a few tips to help you improve your drawing skills. We did construction, we did gesture, next we're going to do shadows, but before we get to that, before you actually render your picture, you want to make sure your base drawing is on point. So in this video we're going to go through a few more tips on how to help you get your base drawing to the point where you can comfortably render it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you all the tips right now, so that you can go on with your day if you don't want to watch the whole video. If you do decide to stick around, I'm going to go in depth into every tip. So here are the tips. 1. Measure. 2. Angles. 3. In relation to. So where is the nose in relation to the eye? 4. Use a grid. 5. Use a mirror or flip. 6. Turn everything upside down. 7. Use a window frame. 8. Do studies. 9. If all else fails, trace. 10. And possibly the most important, draw what you see, not what you think you see. Okay, so let's get into it. Tip number 1. Okay, so the first tip is measure. You can use your pencil to measure, or you can use a ruler. Oh, poor shark. I love sharks. Poor thing. Anyway, so let's look at this picture. So it's a landscape picture. So let's just get the edges more or less. Even when you try to get the dimensions, you can measure. Okay, that's not long enough. So it's just a little bit longer than its tool. Yeah, that works. Okay. So now you can go, and to find your horizon line, you can see it's not quite halfway. That's halfway. So it's a little shorter than halfway. Then you can go to your sketch and decide, okay, it's going to be about there. Now you may want to decide where to place the person. So usually this is going, the photographers place their point of interest on a thirds line. So in photography you've got that rule of thirds, and this guy should be on the third line. Okay, so, my math. So yeah, he is about on the third, on a third of the width. Okay, and his head is just below that horizon, which we already marked. And then to decide how tall should this guy be, we can look at, let's see if he's as tall as the sky is tall. Yep, that works. So it's about finding similar heights, lengths, and then using that to keep your proportions in check. So there I know exactly where to place my person. Okay, so we want to decide where that line goes. So it's not quite halfway. You can see it's not quite halfway. This part of the drawing phase, you
want to hold your pencil quite loosely. You're just suggesting where things go. Suggesting. Again, landscapes are very forgiving. No one's going to know if you mess up the mountain. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea of how to measure with your pencil. With your pencil you can measure like this, or you can measure with your ruler. For sharp. Okay, so the next one is angles. Some people, I think most artists use angles to assemble their drawing. So what do I mean when I'm talking about the angles? Okay, this one's an excellent example. So you have a horizontal boat and you have two vertical rowers and they're holding paddles. Perfect example. Okay, so when you draw this, make your horizontal boat, suggest where you want things to go. Details come later. Again, I'm holding my pencil to the back. We don't care so much about detail at this stage. We'll fix everything up later. Now we look at the two occupants of the boat. Okay, here I'm going to use the measurement thing again. I'm about happy with the placement. Okay, and then you have your paddles at an angle. So if you really want to get technical, you can use an aid that you used in a math class. I'm sorry, I don't know the English. I don't even know the Afrikaans at this stage. That's awful. Okay, and you can look at this angle. Did I get that angle right? And there's a bit of a curve as well. That's the angle there. This is not quite horizontal. It has a slight angle downwards. This is more horizontal. The water is almost horizontal. It slopes up slightly. So really look at your reference picture and look at those angles. Let them help guide you.
3. In relation to. Some artists start with an element and move on from there. It's kind of like building a puzzle from the inside rather than from the edges. I personally can't draw that way. I can't even build puzzles that way. I have to start from the edges, and it's the same with drawing. I need an overview of the big picture and then I go in and fill in the details. But both methods are valid. So I'm going to demonstrate both for you, and you can see how it works and you can decide which one is for you. I have seen some awesome artists use this method to great effect. So definitely go ahead and try it and see if it's for you. That was how I do it. Now I'll show you how they do it. Grid. This is one of my favorite ways to ensure I get the proportions correct, especially on a big picture. The main thing to keep in mind when using a grid is to make sure the dimensions of your reference and your canvas is the same. If it's not the same, you'll end up with a squished sketch. If you suck at math, don't worry, there are workarounds to set up your grid. I'll do a separate video on that. Using a grid is pretty straightforward. Inside every block, you can use the measurement or angles technique to ensure you put your lines down in the correct places. What you're basically doing is breaking down your drawing into smaller, more manageable segments, and you're drawing one square or rectangle at a time. That way you don't get overwhelmed by the big picture, you just focus on a little at a time. It's kind of like how you tackle life's problems. Just do a little bit at a time. Five, flip or mirror. So you may have wondered, why do digital artists flip their artwork? Well, it has to do with how your brain works. When you've stared at a sketch for a while, you lose perspective. You're unable to see the picture as it really is. I'm not sure why this is actually. If you know, comment, tell us. So you've stared at your picture for such a long time, you lose your perspective. You say to yourself, I know something's wrong, but I just don't know what. That's a good time to flip your sketch. If you're working traditionally, there are 3 ways you can do this. 1, look at it in a mirror. 2, turn the page away from you and hold it up to the light. 3, take a picture of it and flip it on your phone. This technique works miracles. You'll be amazed how wonky a thing can be. And before you flip it, you just can't see it. It's a very weird phenomenon. 6, upside down. You can also turn your sketch and reference upside down to help you break the perspective issue. This may help your brain think of what you're seeing as shapes rather than, oh, that's a trash panda, therefore the nose should be like this. If it's upside down, you won't be as tempted to put things where you think they should go. You're forced to rely on what you see. 7, window frame or mask. You can make a little window to help you focus on certain areas. This helps cancel out all that extra information the picture is bombarding you with. It helps you focus on just the area you're working on. 8, studies. If you're having trouble with a certain subject, or if you've just never drawn it before, like me here with the raccoon, it might help to do a few studies before you start on the actual project. Say you want to gift your friend a drawing of her favorite animal, but you've never drawn said animal before. Doing a few studies beforehand can help you get a grasp of the subject. What are studies? Studies are simple, unfinished sketches of a subject. The idea is to draw it from various angles and in various poses to help your mind map the structure of the subject. Disney animators actually did this a lot before they started the movie. So in short, a study is a practice piece. Don't go into too much detail, keep it quick and move on. When you've got a grasp on your subject, you can start on your masterpiece! Haha! 9. If all else fails, trace. I know, it's controversial, but look, if you've tried everything else and you need to get this piece done, then go for it. Tracing has its place. It can be a huge time saver. Just don't rely on it all the time. You want to hone those skills and keep them honed. Tracing, like calculators and spell check, can dull those skills. Tracing is just another tool in your toolbox. 10. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. This is probably every art teacher in the world's favorite saying. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. This is not a girl. This is not a raccoon. This is not a horse. They are simply collections of shapes, lines, light and shadow, and color. Your job is to capture that information. As we've learned in this video, the mind can be a tricky thing. It tells you, this is a face, therefore the eye should go here. And that's why when you try to draw a face at an angle, you may find it difficult to place things correctly. You're constantly fighting your brain's preconceived ideas. That's where some of the tips in this video can help, especially at turning things upside down. It helps you circumvent your brain's natural instincts. If you forget everything else in this video, remember just this one mantra. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. Okay guys, that's it for this video. If you stuck around this long, thank you. And if you found anything helpful in this video, let me know in the comments. And if you have any tips you want to share with the rest of us, we'd love to hear them. See you in the next one. Stay safe.